You may have heard of GDPR, but do you know what it is? GDPR is a privacy law and stands for General Data Protection Regulation. It was put in place to improve the protection of European citizens' rights. This regulation applies to all companies that store personal data about European citizens, including companies from outside of Europe. The UK has adapted GDPR to fit into the UK's legal system. This is known as the Data Protection Act. Companies can only hold personal data for purposes agreed upon with an individual. The definition of personal data is broad and can include categories such as name, address, race, sexual orientation, and many more. Any information that can be put together to identify someone is likely to fall under these regulations. To be GDPR compliant, organisations need to appropriately train their employees so they understand how their role is impacted by GDPR. For example, Chris in the HR department deals with a lot of data and needs to understand the importance of personal and sensitive data. Undergoing training helps Chris understand how personal data is handled within the company and who he is allowed to share this data with. This will help minimise breaches as information is shared on a need-to-know basis. Even if you do not work in HR, you need to understand what GDPR is and how it relates to your day-to-day work, so that you can protect the personal data your company holds. You should also know what to do in the unfortunate event of a data breach. According to GDPR, if personal data has been breached, your company has 72 hours to inform the relative authorities and the customer whose data has been put at risk. Consequences for not following these regulations can incur a business fine of up to £17.5 million, or 4% of annual global turnover, whichever is greater. Remember, GDPR is there to protect you as an individual and your customers, giving you choice and control over how your data is handled. Be proactive and protect the data you hold, encrypt it, and always keep up to date with your security solutions. Data breaches can bring huge fines and are a constant threat, so it is important to take data protection and privacy seriously.